I'm Svetlana, your student. Let me present my guest, Lina Ma. She's a yoga teacher, but first of all, she's anthropologist. And I met Lina in 2013. In the beginning of 2013, she was very beautiful as right now. And our talk is going to go about the nature of a human being and how you become from anthropologist a yoga teacher, and how anthropological mindset helps to be the best yoga teacher, for me at least. Just introduce yourself.
First, thank you, Svetlana, for inviting us to your podcast. I was born in Bogota, Colombia, and I have been living in India on and off for 14 years of my life. I have a daughter, she's half Colombian and half Indian. And I have been working with both roots, not only because of my daughter, but in me. I discovered that the Indian tradition has some similarities with my Colombian, that actually is a melting pot of many different cultures, because in Colombia you have Afro-Colombians that come from Africa. We have indigenous, very stood up now, and we have mestizos. Mestizos is what we call today the Spanish and the mix with the original people. So I think nature has always been part of this culture now, like really being connected with what Mother Earth provides to us. So I feel in reality we live in one Earth. So whenever I connect with the Earth, I feel that it's home. Doesn't matter everywhere where we are, where you put your hands, you automatically feel the connection that is our mother who sustains. And this mother will never leave you. Doesn't matter where you go, it's our big mother, right? So I don't feel that definitely the placenta of my daughter is so there in South America. So going there is like reminding us that we have also a commitment with the territory that you were born. But at the same time, we have soul and other things in India, which is also another home. Yes. So I feel like after so many years of traveling and moving, you realize that home
is everywhere.
It's everywhere, and home is also the people that is with you. The people who love you.
Why in some parts of the world it is so important to be like very similar lips, similar head, similar color of the hairs, and it's like a copy paste. Why some nations or natures staying away from this impact? Indians as well, right?
If you come from a tradition where beauty was seen as a way to connect with nature, not the Western standard that we have more in the media, that a woman should look 90, 60, 90. This is just a standard that we have. But there are many conceptions about what is to remain young or beautiful in different cultures. So in some African traditions, you have the woman who have more space between the teeth is the most wise.
Wise,
so there is different symbols and significance in different cultures. So I think our modern media world also has put some standards. And because we consume these standards so much, I think the young generations are absorbing more fast all the products all the beauty standards, and they are from very young age in these times applying too much things, and which is okay. Everyone is free to do what they will, and with all the respect. But once you cross certain age, you will see the result of putting so many chemicals in your face and doing so many things. So I think it's good if we can really combine a little bit the knowledge of different traditional cultures that are still connected with the sense that beauty is not just a standard, like how the Western world tried to impose. The women or the gender or the person who consider female carry a lot of weight of how you should be. Men also, but women, we always have been subjected to somehow some rules, right? Of how it should be. Yeah, boxes. And I think the harmony and the balance will come when we can find, yes, taking care of ourselves, but not under the pressure, not under the standards, but under our own organic and inner space of feeling harmony with our outer self, our inner self, and knowing that there is no separation. That it's just one, what you are
perceived.
And what you are completely integrated, and what you are with the outer world.
And it's how do you think when your perception of yourself and perception of others, and especially for women, I don't know, I remember from my childhood as well, I should act in a special way. And why? Because others, especially the society, should perceive myself like this. Otherwise, it's not normal. It's not okay for a woman to show her strength or to show her mind, her thoughts, or even her legs, or something, I don't know, or even the chest, for example, or hairs in other societies. But we are talking about our societies where at least the legs are kind of I don't know, you want to love your legs, for example, but you are a little bit staying away from that. And does it also impact on special characteristic of human body? What do you think? Because you are anthropologist, you have some things you have done in your life to see, right? These kind of things. For example, in one group of people, how it impacts a mindset of having for flat foot, for example, or closed chest, or big nose, or kind of these kind of things when the lifestyle impacts on the body, human body.
Yes, I think that depending on the culture where you are living, will have different cultural agreements. Yeah? Like India, for example, has this legacy from the Mughal Empire, when the impact, which before women used to wear the saris, more open, and then came the importance of covering more the body. So I think also was the junction of cultures, but also as a way of respect. It was done, and this create also like barriers somehow in the in the somatic, in the physical part between men and women, that can give rise to cultural confusions, no? Like what you were saying, why women should not show, and yes, and from where comes these rules? Now it's changing,
especially on women.
Yeah, now it's changing, no? Many new generation I see in India, I'm not from there, but they are like a little bit, no, it's hot, I don't want to be all covered, it's hot. Why? So I think the education comes not only from the woman, but also to the man. And this is the job of the new mothers, to educate men to respect women. Yeah, it doesn't matter how they are dressing. they need to learn to respect the woman, regardless of the way. In Latin American culture, it's very interesting because it's the opposite. It's more open. So people is used to seeing more our bodies, and
Yes.
it's just more normal. But it's still, women is subjected to certain masculine standards still. I think, and I have seen recently how there is a new movement of healing or acceptance of the feminine part of the masculine. How men is also starting to realize that they cannot continue with this standard of I'm the macho and I'm always the man and this is how the things are. But rather they are realizing, no, I also have my feminine part. I also deserve to cry without being called, I don't know, a weak person. Yeah. And we women are also showing the same. We also have our
capability to be strong.
Our masculine part. We all have our feminine, our masculine, and they are united. So I think we all need to agree in that we still have this innate in us, these forces. The feminine, which is more nurturing, which is more passive, and the masculine, which is more active, more providing. We all can find it beyond the physical, and then everything will be more harmonized.
You have been working with Americans, but North Americans as well. Do you feel, because the society is pretty open, but do you feel, and you have been working with Indians and with Arab women as well, do you feel, is it the same actually when you woman is free? Is it real freedom?
I think regardless of the place, working with yoga, we have realized that it doesn't matter from what culture you come from. We are all striving to find the inner freedom. Not necessarily or politically or socially is defined as a freedom, but just finding this path towards moksha, towards liberation, towards freedom of suffering. Because independently of any culture, we all humans will encounter in some moment of our life some sort of pain, and depending of our own samskaras, which is impressions that we carry with us, we will respond differently, more like with suffering or with sorrow or with a very attitude. So I feel with this yoga path, and regardless of which part of the world, we see the beauty of the transformation of everyone blossoming like a lotus flower and going out from this mat and into the light, into this is possible through the practice to find the light.
Beautifully,
yeah.
Beautiful.
So I think it's independently. It's more when we say, when we work with people who practice yoga, but when we work or we talk with the normal layman, probably the mental will be more subjected to the external structure. But we realize that the freedom is inside, not even outside.
Yeah, that's what I feel, that sometimes it's not about the physical face or how you accept yourself. And nobody is speaking, for example, when the tree is growing, some leaves are beautiful. Other leaves are beautiful too, right? Their purpose is to give us fresh air and done. So everything is beautiful altogether.
Yeah, like these words that say that two flowers are growing beautiful together. It's not competing against each other, because both have their own colors and their own smells and their own shapes, and both are beautiful in their own ways. Growing.
And Lina, you have been working a lot with
the indigenous communities at the beginning of my career as anthropologist, and then I shifted to India, so I started working more with the Eastern sciences. They have been working for their own sovereignty, but in the recent last 10 years, I have seen how all the media has grown and how they have become characters of their own sovereignty. It means they don't need intermediates anymore. Like before, and they know it. It was the NGO or the anthropologist who was going there and then communicating to the. They realized, no, we don't need these intermediates. We ourselves can do it, and it's beautiful because, like you say now, probably this is one good thing about technology. There are many drawbacks, but there are also this sense of voices that have not been
listened
and heard before. And understand.
Yes.
Now it's time for me to speak. You speak for me a long time. Now is my time. So I find this beautiful to see these new changes and how we are all inserting in this big dialogue around the world, all the cultures, all the people. And I'm grateful, for example, to be able to see, for example, here in Armenia, the Caucasus tradition, which is full of beautiful nature. I'm always amazed how you connect with the flowers and the way that you is just a beautiful culture in itself. And then you go to the Middle East and the desert culture, even when it's modern, have their own ways. And then even in North America, there is still very incredible melting pots that you can find in small towns. And in South America also, how everything is changing, and the First Nation and the indigenous are integrating in a new dialogue. So it's wonderful.
Yes.
These times are strange, but it's also wonderful right? To see how...
It's strange when you follow the media, but when you live the life, it's beautiful.
Of course. But it's like we all need like a vehicle,
of course,
to communicate. And I realized at the beginning I was very hesitant with all this media and these live streams and this. I was like, no, but this... And then I realized our new reality. So
yes, we have to accept it.
We need to accept it, and we need to know that this is the way that we can communicate.
Yes. You are from Colombia, but dear, in Colombia you have Armenia. How come?
This is a very good question. Armenia is a coffee zone, and I once upon a time read about what was the name about. Some people say that it has to do with this Armenian name of this part of the world, or people know. But it can also have another, because, for example, the Minio, the name of the city, and the region.
Yes.
The region is called Quindío. Quindío comes from the indigenous name of the area who used to live there. So yeah, it can be, and you see this very common in South America and in Colombia, like names that can be indigenous and overlap also with the Spanish.
I see. So Armenia comes from the Spanish interpretation. You have good nature. Are you missing?
I visit almost now one time a year. And we have a project there. We have a project there. So we have closer to a place called Villa de Leyva, space, closer to a river, a stream, where we are planning to construct some lodges, but it will take some time. So definitely I'm very connected to my land,
your land,
and to my roots. Yes.
Was it challenging to do so, to leave behind a lot of lifestyle things, a lot of habits, especially characteristics?
I think it has been interesting to get detached. I have been reflecting lately about it, and I feel grateful for being detached and not carrying with me the weight of how my life should look in a standard, right? It's like, I don't have all this weight of these expectations, no? After all, I decide my life to move. And when you move so much, you cannot carry so many things with you. So start appreciating the fact that you don't have so many things. And at the beginning, perhaps you say, why I don't have this, or why I don't have that. But with time, you realize, oh, it's so good to don't have so many things. Just, one day we will leave this planet and we will live without anything of what we have. So what
why to carry
so much? And in other hand, we travel a lot. So let's say that this aspect of my mother-in-law, I'm so grateful for her, because she has been a great model. In fact, in India, we call it the Badi Mama, which means big mama.
Because
so like the small mama, and she is like the big mama. So she has been like a very important
model,
standard, like a pillar of for my daughter and for the guidance of my daughter. So I like that in India, the people and the families really like to do it. Like even sometimes in Latin America or in Europe, for the grandparents, it's like, okay, I will take care of the child, but only for these hours, or only with this commitment of it's just your whole responsibility. In India, no. In India, they really want to do it, and they can stay with the child 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and completely grateful for doing it.
Yes.
And our life is very nomadic. We really rely in the community. And I'm grateful for the fact that we say it takes a tribe to raise a child.
Of course, because sometimes, and especially here in Armenia, we think that the child belongs to us, not to the tribe. And what you have said, it's beautiful. But yes, of course, the tribe and society also. Especially
I see a lot of concern about many acquaintance, people that I know all over the world who feel very left with their child alone all day, without any sort of, the guy go and work all day and they're with the child, and the mental health of the mothers is compromised. So I think some cultures a little bit to rethink the way that society is going, because this will affect us when we grow up.
Yes.
So there is this basic foundation that we as humanity need to rethink. How we...
What is wrong?
Not necessarily wrong, but why mothers alone all the time? They also deserve time for themselves. They also deserve a space. Traditional communities is the whole village. So you know that the child will be safe. It's not going to, of course, in this strange world, you don't know the mental state of the people around. So you will not trust your child with anyone. But if you live in an average healthy society, you will trust that it will be fine.
Yes.
Fine, and then definitely we are in the process of growing and growing and growing. So we are also in a constant learning
and changing.
Changing.
Yeah, what I have learned from our talk right now, it's acceptance. You were always speaking about the acceptance, and life, the best lesson that life gives you, it's acceptance. I know that it's not so easy to accept, especially when you have a control kind of a mind, and the Western world is like that if you want to be a ruler of your life, then you have to control everything. But right now, what you are saying is all about the acceptance, that you were trying, but it was not coming. And at the end, left only the acceptance. As I understand, you learn it also from indigenous. And coming to indigenous, by the way, recently it is very popular to go to trips, especially to Colombia or to Latin America for ayahuasca. And here in Armenia, the people are very in their head or in their and they read a lot of books. Carlos Castaneda, right? So they read. I think a lot of spiritual people read this book about Don Juan.
Yes.
Don Juan.
The Jackie.
Yeah. So What we learn from that book is the sensual stuff, how you are sensitive about the nature, how you can communicate with even a small flower or even a grass. And what is ayahuasca, at least? And why everyone wants to go to Colombia just for having ayahuasca retreat or something like this? Not in only in Armenia, but also in whole world.
I think this is a call of the necessity of our humanity to harmonize, because this is sacred plants, and the sacred plants, well, now because of the media and everything, has expanded the information, and think now it's almost going into the debate, between these properties belong to who, to the sovereignty of the indigenous communities, or is going out to the laboratories to become like a treatment for depression or anxiety. So I think it's okay that we want to heal ourselves all over the world, but also giving the place that the culture has to do with this plant. Like in Colombia, we don't call it ayahuasca. In Colombia, we call it yahe.
Yahe?
Yahe. So as long as you are acknowledging the culture and the community and the social situation around, then it's worth it. But if it's just taking the plan out of the context, it's just like for some people it works, but I feel we need to honor from where the things come from. Then it will really be more respectful. Yeah, it's just like as much with yoga. Like, it's okay that yoga has become so popular and everywhere, and people do the different ways that they create with their minds, but we need to also to acknowledge the ways and the matters from where these come from. Yeah, even if we say no, it's for everyone. Yes, everything is for everyone. It's fine, this way of thinking, but there is roots, and this root needs to be honored and respected. So as long as you are acknowledging the whole situation around and the impact that is having in these communities when you go there, is fine, no? And and doing it with the force and the respect of the community around.
When you do it with the, and but it's the trick is that you can have, if you really understand it, you can have not the right teacher, right? So if you do it with the wrong person, what will happen to you?
Well, with the plants, with the sacred plants, I think it's like a challenge, because it's not only the moment that you drink the plant and have the experience, but what happened after. It's just almost like when you give birth. You're giving birth to yourself. And what happened after you give birth? There is like a whole postnatal process that no one talks about it, because everyone just talks about the beauty of the birth, but no one talks about what happened after. So
finally,
the same happened with these plants. You're giving birth to yourself. There are very deep experiences. So what happened after is what we call reintegration. And many people talk about reintegration in a very light way. Like they say, no, let's do this retreat and let's do reintegration. And reintegration is just a very short talk. Okay, you're fine, bye. But no, some people have some mental background from before they drink the medicine, and this will linger with them after for a long, long time. So this integration is very important. Even small details that happen in these ceremonies can have a very big effect in you. So people become very used to do it. But if you are with a person who is not harmonizing the way that they conduct the ceremony with the way that you conceive the world, like, it can be a lot of confusion. And you don't want to go out of a ceremony more confused than when you went in. You want to go clear and little bit purified, no, in the sense of being more conscious and more present.
And it works especially on what kind of part of the brain? and which kind of hormones this plant
is still being
Yeah.
researched, but it seems to create new neuroconnections in the brain.
I see. Like you are perceiving the world in
Yeah,
different way.
you enter into the spectrum that you normally cannot perceive.
I see.
So you are creating new neuroconnections, and it has been proved very, very great for depression. For people who have living with this long-term depression. Also, bueno, it's also a purge. So for many people, depending on how you have lived your life, will bring up all this toxic life overload that you have, and that's why so many people vomit and so many people go to toilet, because first they need to purify, clean, and then like the nadis in yoga, the energetic channels, then all this will clean, and then the energy can flow easy.
It's interesting, right? As an anthropologist, Lina, all around the world, people somehow or other come to the point that they have to come to their light, the purpose of their life, maybe. I don't know in that part of the world from where you come from. Maybe the nature and the plants are most important. Actually, the plants are everywhere are important, right? In homeopathy,
there's one Mother Earth,
right? So in homeopathy as
Yeah,
well.
it's
In
beautiful.
Armenia, we have
Yes.
Amir Dovlatsi,
Beautiful.
Amir Dovlat Amasyatsi, who was working with the plants, and he has a book, a big book about the plants and whatever is written, like how to use this plant, this plant, this plant. The plant world is amazing.
It's amazing.
Also,
It's all over the world. The thing is that in Latin America, we have these very specific indigenous connected plants that has been catalytics in the transformation. But if we commit with any work with any plant, we will see the changes if we are very sensible to the subtle aspects of each plant.
I see, because you also work with cacao. Cacao has special characteristics, right? So, and as a person who is working only with women, mostly with the woman, not only, but mostly with the woman, how cacao impacts woman health. And why cacao then? Well, why you are healing with cacao? Because you are actually healing.
Okay, so cacao, Theobroma cacao, like the component, it was first discovered, like, bueno, the science is all the time discovering things, but 5,000 years ago in the Amazon. And then later on was that the whole culture around the cacao developed in Central America, that are was the main custodians of the cacao. It has become very popular as well, but there is some misconceptions, like because they say that there is no something called cacao ceremony. There are special occasions in their life, like after a baby is born, they all drink cacao. When they are working together in community, they drink cacao. So the cacao in itself has also been a little bit changing by all different humans and how it has passing hand in hand. But there are like special anks, like the directions that you work with, the wheel of directions, and the way that the cacao work in our heart. So for women who are going to give birth, like for example, that the birth is delaying or is becoming long, we give our natural oxytocin,
which is cacao.
Like but this only not before birth, but only when the birth is becoming too long, which is the cacao with special spices like chili and cloves, and so you give this, and this will activate, the energy to instead of going for the oxytocin or so you can start helping with that, but not before that moment. And the remaining is, I decided to start working with the cacao when I have my first experiences with plants since I was very young, at 17 years old. So I have like a long journey on being anthropologist with the plants. I have seen from not being mainstream to completely becoming mainstream, no? The whole anthropological analysis of how humanity is relating now with plants. But I have become very in love when I went to Central America with cacao, because I felt that it was this special being. I have dreams also with the cacao, giving me names, and well, many information came to me with this cacao. And the importance that sometimes we can do a lot of physical exercise and movement, and the other way around, we can use a lot of plants, and sometimes we need to go to somatic to physical, and the other way around. Sometimes people is too much into the physical body and they forget to really, they bypass the heart. And I feel the cacao is very effective in really opening. There is no way out. It's just you drink and you automatically start feeling how it unblock, and
I feel it. I remember myself.
And just start use the temperature and the sensibility and recognizing this love that we always have there. So it's this wonderful spirit that awake us to the sense that we cannot forget that we are loved. So for me, it's more that reminder when we become,
that you are in love.
That when we come to heart, when our heart hardens, and when we get like too sad, or to drink a cacao, because
too many emotions carried by your heart, then it's time to go and drink cacao.
Exactly.
That's why kids, they love cacao.
Yeah, it's definitely serotonin, a happy hormone, and the whole thing around, because it's not the same just drink a cacao next to the fridge, that sitting in the circle
and eating cacao as well, right? Like eating chocolate.
But you were mentioning to me, no, if you cross certain amount, it can become toxic. Just like anything, no?
Of course.
There is certain.
Yes, of course. It's kind of if we look from that point, all plants, they have a way to live in this world, because everyone wants to live. Then it means that we love the way how they live. But they protect themselves, and that's why we love these toxins that they produce, and then somehow we take that byproducts of the plants and use them in our life to have certain hormonal changes in our body or in our head, just to live the life happily.
This what you say is very interesting, because I was reading recently that some plants have survived because they realized that as humans we consume it and we need it, so they know it's through the humans that they can continue thriving. So it's like this consciousness in the plant also, that it knows that it needs the human to continue existing.
Lina, John, also there are some plants which look similarly, totally similarly. And there was one guy from the US, from America, who was doing some researches, and he exactly knows that this one was not eatable and this one is eatable. They're totally the same, just one behavior which is different, and because of that it can kill and another cure.
That's why the knowledge of the First Nations and the communities is so important, because when a person goes to the jungle, they just see trees, green, but for them it's like a book.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
It's all like a book. They see the shapes, the forms exactly. No?
We lost this feeling, right? This sensitivity to live with the nature, towards the plants.
What works, what don't work. Because everything became ready-made for us.
Yes.
More comfortable the life, more
less
the brain became less smart,
less neural connections in your head.
Definitely.
Otherwise, yes, whatever we have is beautiful, actually. Then maybe to find the balance, and actually, as I see, you already find that balance, the balance of living and at the same time with the social world, with the media world, with the virtual world, and the world, the natural, the reality, right? Because it's something that right now I'm sitting here and talking to you, and then after some days it will go to live stream, the mainstream, and the feeling of this world, words even will be different. I don't know. Yes, I think we need this connection with the nature, and that's why I feel that from the part of the world that you come, and it was done there already, that you have to, otherwise you will not survive. That's why so many people are living in that part of the world, not here. As I feel, as I if we go a little bit about myself as well, as I remember myself, I'm always in a war. In this Middle East, there are always wars. War of this land, the other land. Why people cannot just live without any war? Because in a tribes, I don't know, in a small groups as well. Are there wars?
Yes, definitely. This is a very distressful topic, I think.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
we are not going to talk about the war, but yeah, you understand.
Yeah, I understand. No, yeah, definitely. From the first studies that I did in anthropology, you read in books that war is invaded in culture to distribute population, to from the semi-indigenous tribes to food for women, for marriages. It seems that we have always this savage side in
Yes.
us, that it have gone to be more refined, but it still exists and is awful, because the way that we do, it's supposed that we have developed so many things and so many, and still our ways remain the same. Yeah.
Yes.
The way that we and not having these principles like Indian tradition teaches of compassion, of respect for the life of others. You know? So overall, I think also communication. I think humans still have a long way to learn how to communicate with each other without triggering and without activating trauma, without reacting. So we are a long way still to work as a humanity. Yeah, and I hope we, just like we develop so much these new things with the technology and people more isolated, we also develop, pair with that, more social skills to be able to continue educating the next generation of what is to be also a compassionate and a social person.
Yes, as a social person, yeah. And last but not least, what's the way of living your keys to live a balancing life, harmonious life? What's your secret?
I think embracing everything. Your sticky sides, your dark sides, your parts that you don't want to see. It's only when you take this to the light that they get breathing, that they get ventilation. So this looking for only light, bypassing all the difficult things that we have lived in life is not really the light. The light is when you really have lived your life through so many things and you have brought it into you, being able to observe it and then move forward with it, not above. Yeah, like some people tell you, move above, or you know, it's not possible. There are things that are very strong that we live, and we cannot jump over it and pretend that they never exist. We nature, we grow and we become more wise, and we move forward with it. But it will not affect us the same way that it was. Yes. So I think for me, this is one of the keys. Learn to move forward with all what you are. And then you will realize that even what you feel that is dark or light becomes only the same prakash. No? The
same light.
The same light. Yeah? The Shiva consciousness, or the God consciousness, or wherever we want to go. Because after all, this light will embrace everything what we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Lina Jan, thank you. And I think this is the way, as I love to give this question to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I
this
appreciate
this question to everyone: what is the purpose of the life? Actually, of course, just for fun, having fun. But you already give the purpose of the life.
I think there is no way to describe it. You just can feel it and live it. And the purpose is you being here. Is me. We are already incarnating the purpose. There is no more purpose than being who we are here and now. That's the miracle. And
that's the miracle. You both with your husband answered the same way. Being here now.
Yeah, that's we are incarnated. But I think it's amazing that we have, if we are lucky, 100 years to live. I mean, I can die tomorrow. I don't know, but to be grateful for this existence, for this time that we have, and the day that we go with full gratitude.
Yes, I'm grateful for having you in my life because you are like my parents, but the parents of my soul. Thank you, Lina Ma.
Thank you, Svetlana.